Welcome back to Mobility Project. Special guest episode tonight. Probably our most famous guest, I'm not going to lie. This is TJ Murphy, editor of Competitor Magazine, former senior editor of Triathlon Magazine, is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely. 2:38 marathoner, which isn't bad, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing, which I am. Former ultra runner. Hey, me too. That's
I know.
That's right. But you always did it under the adult weight, right? You ever over 200 pounds did an ultra? That's funny. I'm still the only guy in the room who's over 200 pounds who's done an ultra. Raise your hand if you've done an ultra at 200 pounds. No, not Juliet either. What's notable though is we have an athlete who you've done Ironman, right?
Yeah, 5 times.
5 times, right? I think I've run 5 5Ks in my life, and they were all in the 8th grade. But that's neither here nor there. So what we have is probably the most prolific writer about triathlons and endurance sports of all time. Is that possible?
Broken runner.
Broken leopard. So we have an old supple broken leopard, resupplifying, if that's a word. One of the things that we see in a lot of endurance athletes is that because the patterning is restricted to a small range of motion, we end up creating a lot of stiffness in a certain range. And a lot of endurance athletes will complain bitterly about some little hamstring tightness at the top or a section. And a lot of times we have dealt with this traditionally by getting on the lacrosse ball, trying to floss those tissues. And you've certainly taken this at work. And here's how we traditionally say this. Say, let's go ahead and put this under your hamstring and try to tack and stretch past that. And that's the one way to go. We're going to show you something else today that helps you understand a lot of the mobilizations we're doing is about putting the joint into a position of emphasis and then trying to create movement past that. And what we oftentimes are doing that we don't talk about so much is that we're creating or rectifying muscle stiffness. And so I get an area that's stiff. One of the reasons that we flip our athletes, have athletes standing, and then we do an open chain, which means that the leg is free, is that movement is very complex. So for example, you can relate to this, that running, we typically think, oh, leg, butt, hamstrings, that's all about hip extension, about extending the leg. Well, as soon as the leg is fixed, when I extend, not only is the leg extending, but then the trunk is also extending. And so suddenly I have this very complex movement where I'm absorbing force, lengthening from both sides, or shortening from both sides, and then lengthening simultaneously as I stabilize. And if you extrapolate that into Olympic lifting, for example, you take the jerk, as I jump, this is an open chain, distal open, I have the bar in my hand, but then all of a sudden, this becomes fixed. I'm suddenly lengthening from both sides simultaneously, so it's now a closed chain exercise back into an open chain exercise. And so we need to make sure we're going upstream and downstream, both sides of the system. So what we've done traditionally is let's go ahead and throw that right in your gully, and so hook it right here, and then we're going to go and just do that floss where we stand, and weight bearing, we've got the leg straight, so put it right into your kind of butt crease there, wind up as much tension as you can get. You can go further, I know you're just like an anemic little skinny former vegetarian rectified. It's okay, you see that? He smells like bacon now. I appreciate that. That's okay, good. So hold that position, and then what I'm going to have you do is just kind of put your hands out so you can kind of weight bear, and I want you just to floss that hamstring back and forth. So what's happening now is that we've got a position of emphasis, and he's just going to go ahead and straighten and bend and straighten that leg for me. And so what we're doing now is we're not really getting a stretch. What we're doing is we've loaded his hip and then tensioning at the knee, and he just kind of flosses in and out. And at that peak tension, you feel big stress there. We probably have about 100 pounds of band tension pulling this capsule back, and you can feel how tight that is pulling. Now what happens if you flip around the other direction? So this would probably make more sense in terms of putting the hip into the right position, pulling backwards. Now load that forward as far as you can and see what happens. And this is what I want you to do, is to do some kind of informed freestyling. Now try that same move and see how that feels. And you're going to be like, oh, my hip goes back into that corner. Very different stretch there. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah, and the difference is that we're really winding up this piece of his hip capsule here. So let's go ahead, and I want you to try this today. I want you to floss this maybe 30 times, maybe 40 times a leg, and just oscillate in and out. Touch that resistance, touch it, shouldn't go numb, come out, kind of touch it, come out, okay? And now I'm going to show you another way. This comes from our friend Donnie Thompson and our kind of sensei masters at Jump Stretch Band. And what you're going to see is that we're going to do the same mobilization, but this time let's have you on your back, facing, so head to the rack here, and kind of get a little bit closer, so you're almost at your head is underneath the weight here. And then we're going to hook this straight up on your foot. So bring your leg straight up, same leg, okay? and that's just going to hook there. You can put your head up and brace on the rack if you want. This could be a table, and then I want you just to press that leg straight to the ground for me. Oh, morning! So this can be done with a little bit lighter band. You'll get the hang of it, okay? And then go ahead and bring that leg up under control. So don't want to snap back. What you're going to find is that it gets pretty high under tension. Go ahead and let it come back up. And now he's working on his muscle stiffness, and then re-engage and press that to the ground again. There he goes. And now he's got the control of it. Come back up. Bring it back up. Excellent. And then press to the ground. And at the end range, he's getting a stretch, but he's also getting this stiffness control. And this is a lot of the kind of eccentric lengthening under load that happens. Oftentimes after a heavy squat session, you feel better because you've torn open some of those adhesions. You feel the difference? Yeah. Right now, what's going to happen now is that maybe I do 20 or 30 reps per leg, and it feels very different. And do you feel a big stretch here that's very, yeah, absolutely. Because he's having to control that, and if you're, watch your finger there, Carl. So now, let's go ahead and combine ideas. I'm going to go ahead and do that same muscle flossing piece, and this time, pull that off, I'm going to go ahead and put this as a super friend. Go ahead and wind your foot back up again. And this time, I'm going to anchor his foot here, and then I'm going to distract. So you're going to have to put your hands down on the band this time, TJ, to keep it from slipping off. So now I'm going to distract, get a big distraction, let go with your hands, but just when you drop your leg down, don't let it slip off the leg. Go ahead and come down again, and then you'll see that exactly right. So now he's got hamstring control with big distraction. Head come all the way down, and I can help him if the band's too tight. Good, and then come back up under control. And then at the top motion here, under control, let us sling back up a little faster. You can see how jerky he is. Oh, morning! And then I get this big distraction hit at the same time. 20 or 30 reps of this, and I'm going to show you the difference side to side.
20 or 30.
20 or 30, that's right. Come back up. This looks like Pilates on crack. That's because that's what it is, right? But I want you to understand what you're seeing. And now what's happened is that we've taken, this kind of open chain piece, and I want to show you what his range changes look like. So we've done, stay there, we've done fixed here, flossing here. Now we're opening from the other side, and we've done it as an open chain. So once we bend this leg up, this is the non-leg, put this leg down, let me have it, relax the leg, hip crease below the knee, this is his end range, okay, take a picture, well, let's just see what the other side looks like. And not only as I'm looking through the other side, and this is his tricky side, way more supple, the other thing that you'll see is that there's no resistance through end range. I press, and I've opened up this tissue in terms of dealing with the stiffness. This is still why we prioritize stretching last. We think about kind of joint capsule, motor control, and muscle stiffness first, and then kind of neuromuscular, absolute length last, because all of those factors, joint position, motor control, stiffness, really do kind of dictate. This is a great fix for those people who have a high hamstring problem. This will unglue that nerve and that kind of proximal hamstring. TJ Murphy, good victim. Thanks for being such a nice job. Say goodbye to the kids. Any words of advice about your leopardom?
Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. No days off. We'll see you guys tomorrow.